On September 16th, 2025, the world lost more than an actor. It lost a dreamer, a visionary, and a man who forever changed the way we see stories on screen. Robert Redford did not just act in films, he reshaped the very foundation of cinema. Through his greatest gift, the Sundance Film Festival, he gave unknown storytellers a stage, and he gave the world a new way of seeing itself. But why would one of Hollywood's brightest stars step away from the glitter of fame to fight for films no studio wanted? Why would Redford risk his reputation and fortune to create a space for the overlooked and the unheard? Pause for a moment. If you believe in powerful stories, in legacies that outlive lifetimes, then subscribe now to Hot Take Nation. Like, comment, and share this video so together we can spread the story of Robert Redford to those who may have been touched, directly or indirectly, by his life. Robert Redford was born in Santa Monica, California in 1936. His father worked long hours as a milkman. His mother encouraged his creativity, but tragedy struck early when she passed away when Redford was just 18. The loss left him searching for meaning, wandering through art, sports, and travel. For a while, he studied painting in Europe, living frugally, sketching people and landscapes, but always restless. When he returned to America, he stumbled into acting almost by accident, enrolling in drama classes at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Hollywood came calling, and soon the golden-haired, sharp-jawed Redford became the all-American leading man. He starred in hits like Butch Cassidy and The Sundance Kid and The Sting, cementing his place as one of the biggest stars of the 1970s. But even in the middle of fame, Redford felt a quiet dissatisfaction. The studio system cared about formulas, not about truth. It made blockbusters, not honesty. He once admitted that the Hollywood machine made him feel trapped, that stories were reduced to market strategies instead of expressions of human life. This frustration planted the seed that would one day grow into Sundance. In 1968, long before Sundance was born, Redford purchased land in Utah's Wasatch Mountains. To some, it seemed like a retreat from Hollywood. But to Redford, it was a return to authenticity. He built the Sundance Resort there, not for celebrity indulgence, but as a sanctuary for artists. He wanted a place where creativity could breathe, where writers, actors, and directors could escape the noise and find their voices. By the late 1970s, an idea began to take shape. In Salt Lake City, a small group of film enthusiasts had started the Utah/US Film Festival to showcase movies Hollywood ignored. It was humble, a few screenings, small crowds, little recognition, but Redford saw potential. He envisioned a stage where independent stories could stand proudly, side by side, with the blockbusters. In 1981, he created the Sundance Institute, a non-profit organization to nurture independent filmmakers through labs, workshops, and mentorship. And in 1984, he took over the struggling Utah US Film Festival. He renamed it after his most iconic role, Sundance. The choice was symbolic. Sundance, the outlaw he once played, represented rebellion and freedom. Naming the festival after that character was Redford's declaration that cinema could be free too. At Sundance, directors didn't have to beg for studio approval. They didn't have to worry about box office billions. They could tell bold, daring human stories. The kind of stories that Hollywood too often buried. The festival moved to Park City, Utah. The streets were snowy, the theaters small, but the energy was electric. By moving it to January, right before awards season, Redford ensured that Hollywood couldn't ignore it. Park City became a pilgrimage site for dreamers with reels in their hands and hope in their hearts. But in the beginning, there was doubt. Would anyone care? Would audiences sit through low-budget films with no stars? Could such a festival even survive? And then the magic began. In 1985, two brothers no one had heard of, Joel and Ethan Coen, premiered Blood Simple. The film stunned critics. Suddenly, whispers about Sundance grew louder. 4 years later, in 1989, Steven Soderbergh unveiled Sex, Lies, and Videotape. It didn't just succeed, it redefined independent cinema. Hollywood had to pay attention. Then came 1992. A young man who once worked in a video store, Quentin Tarantino, showed Reservoir Dogs at Sundance. His style was raw, his dialogue sharp, his violence unapologetic. And it lit a fire that spread across the industry. Soon, Sundance became the birthplace of legends. Darren Aronofsky with Pi, Ava DuVernay with Middle of Nowhere, Ryan Coogler with Fruitvale Station, Jordan Peele with Get Out, Chloe Zhao with songs My Brothers Taught Me. From Whiplash to Little Miss Sunshine, tiny films no one expected to survive became cultural milestones. Think about that for a moment. How many of the films that shaped your own life, the ones that made you laugh, cry, or question the world, began as whispers in the snowy streets of Park City? If even one of these films has touched you, take a second to subscribe to Hot Take Nation. Comment with the movie that first opened your eyes to the power of indie cinema. And share this story so others can celebrate Robert Redford's legacy too. By the 1990s, Sundance had become more than a festival. It was a marketplace. Distributors arrived hungry, ready to discover the next breakout hit. Independent films were no longer afterthoughts. They were shaping culture, winning Oscars, redefining genres. Sundance changed the way movies were financed and distributed. The old barriers crumbled. Suddenly, indie films could be bought at Sundance and find worldwide audiences. By the 2000s, as streaming giants like Netflix, Amazon, and Apple rose, Sundance became their frontline battlefield. What started in small Utah theaters could now reach millions of homes around the world. But Sundance was never just about premieres. It was about people. It became a platform for justice, diversity, and inclusion. Programs were launched to support Indigenous filmmakers, women directors, and underrepresented voices. Films about race, gender, climate change, and technology found their stage at Sundance when no one else would listen. Redford once said, "Sundance is not about show business, it's about storytelling." And he lived that truth until the end. Close your eyes for a second and imagine this. A young filmmaker, nervous, clutching a battered film reel, standing in the snow, walking into a small Park City theater. The lights dim, the audience leans forward, and for the first time, their story is seen. That was Sundance. That was Redford's gift. And if you believe in gifts like that, the kind that give people courage to speak their truth, then don't just watch this video. Be part of the story. Subscribe to Hot Take Nation. Like this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments and share it. Because voices grow louder when we amplify them together. Even as Redford aged, his commitment never wavered. In March 2025, the Sundance Institute announced that the festival would move from Utah to Boulder, Colorado, beginning in 2027. Some worried this meant the end of its spirit, but Redford's vision was never tied to a place. It was an idea that cinema belongs to everyone, not just the powerful few. From snowy Park City to bustling Boulder, Sundance will remain the heartbeat of independent film. Robert Redford gave us many unforgettable performances: The Great Gatsby, All the President's Men, Out of Africa. But his greatest role was never on screen. It was behind the scenes, creating a space where others could shine. On September 16th, 2025, Robert Redford passed away at the age of 89. But Sundance will never die. He gave cinema its soul back. He gave the voiceless a voice. And he left behind a gift that will outlast us all. If this story moved you, don't let it end here. Subscribe to Hot Take Nation. Like this video. Leave a comment about the film or filmmaker that first touched your soul. And share this so that Redford's legacy continues to reach those who may have been touched directly or indirectly by his life. Because Robert Redford may be gone, but the fire of Sundance still burns.